The torches flicker against marble walls. Music trembles softly through the golden air. Silk curtains breathe like slow-moving waves. Beyond them, Rome holds its breath tonight. The emperor stands, framed in candlelight. Gold glimmers on his robe, his crown. Eyes heavy with power, yet restless desire. Every gesture, a command. Every silence, a storm. Guests enter through gates carved with myth. Their faces reflect awe and fear. Perfumed shadows move between pillars of ivory. Laughter hides secrets. Ambition hides shame. Tonight, the palace becomes a stage, and its ruler, the god of spectacle. Music swells, wine flows, whispers spark fire. The night belongs to decadence and danger. This was no ordinary palace of Rome. It was an empire within an empire. Walls painted with pleasure, rooms built for fantasy. Every corner whispered forbidden dreams aloud. Here, power met passion without restraint, a theater of excess, born of obsession, where the emperor's will shaped reality itself. And marble bowed to the madness of beauty. To the world, it was scandal beyond measure. To him, it was divine expression of control. A world where art, sin, and glory intertwined. A palace where Rome's virtues melted in gold. But what drove this emperor so far? What dream burned beneath his fragile crown? Was it art or unrelenting hunger for power? Or the loneliness only gods can understand? The palace reflected his mind, vast and wild. Every statue, every song, every forbidden night. It was Rome's beauty, turned inside out, a mirror showing both heaven and ruin. So we ask, was he visionary or monster? A dreamer lost in the fire he created, or a warning carved in marble and gold? That desire, unbound, becomes its own empire. Before the whispers, before the decadence began, there was a boy born into legend. Rome watched him with cautious, curious eyes. He was heir to both glory and chaos. Blood of emperors burned quietly in his veins. He studied their triumphs, feared their downfalls. In his youth, he smiled like a god, but in that smile, shadows already stirred. When the throne opened its golden doors, he stepped through with divine confidence. The Senate bowed, the crowds roared his name, and for a brief, shining moment, hope lived. They called him the dawn of renewal, a ruler blessed with vision and mercy. But power, once tasted, changes every soul, and soon, his mercy became his mask. He wanted more than rule, he wanted eternity. Power alone could not quiet his hunger. He sought beauty that could not decay. He sought worship that could never end. Every victory became a mirror for ego. Every festival, a stage for his desire. He dreamt not of Rome, but of himself, a man ascending to myth before death. His palace became the theater of his vision. Walls would sing his glory in gold. Ceilings would echo with divine illusion. Pleasure and reverence would bow together. This was ambition unshackled, holy and profane. Not conquest of lands, but of meaning itself. He would bend history to his reflection and call it art, or destiny, or love. Before the transformation, it was Rome's heart, a royal residence, silent, solemn, restrained. Marble floors carried the weight of empire. Each arch, a reminder of ancient discipline. Here emperors ruled with ceremony, not spectacle. Power was shown in simplicity and control. Duty echoed louder than laughter or music. This was Rome before the fever of indulgence. He walked those halls with restless contempt. The walls felt too plain, too obedient. He saw authority, but not majesty enough. He saw order, but not the poetry of chaos. In that discontent, a vision took shape. He would break the silence with desire. He would carve paradise from obedience's stone. And the palace of Rome would never sleep again. It stood like a dream carved in stone, walls shimmering with gold, silver, and shadow. Gardens spread wide, perfumed with forbidden blossoms. Every pathway whispered secrets beneath the moon. Columns rose like gods in silent worship. Ceilings painted with stars that never dimmed. Marble fountains poured over sculpted nymphs and lions. The air itself tasted of indulgent promise. Each chamber held its own unspoken ritual, a stage where luxury met quiet temptation. Silken drapes, jeweled lamps, music of pleasure. This was not a palace, it was prophecy. Here, desire became architecture in motion. Light and color danced to unseen rhythm. Every corner breathed the emperor's restless soul. A world reborn under his boundless command. It was an age of brilliance and decay. Art flourished as morality quietly dissolved. Poets sang of gods, lovers, and wine. The city lived between reason and excess. The court gleamed with silks from distant lands, perfumes from Egypt, jewels from Persia's fire. Feasts turned into performances of divine hunger. Each banquet blurred the sacred and the profane. Senators schemed in gardens of gold and gossip. Philosophers debated pleasure like it was faith. Virtue had become costume, truth, an illusion. And the emperor, both actor and audience combined. In this Rome, decadence was a kind of art. The body, the temple, indulgence, the creed. And the palace stood as its sacred altar, a mirror of an empire's burning soul. The empire was rich, too rich to resist. Gold overflowed from conquest and tribute alike. The Senate grew silent beneath imperial favor, and ambition had no enemy left to fear. The emperor ruled above law and restraint. His word, decree; his pleasure, policy. Power's balance dissolved in the heat of desire. Even rebellion forgot how to rise. With the treasury full and Rome's were weak, extravagance became the proof of greatness. The court fed on spectacle, not duty. The gods themselves seemed entertained, not angered. It was a world drunk on its reflection. Beauty and corruption danced hand in hand. And within that perfect storm of freedom, one man's madness became an empire's masterpiece. It began not with war, but with longing, a silence too deep for gods to fill. The emperor, once adored, now restless and alone. Power, it seemed, no longer satisfied desire. Whispers say it started with a dream, a vision of marble breathing like flesh, a voice calling from beyond mortal restraint, a promise that beauty could conquer decay. Others claim it was fear of time. The crown grows heavy when youth fades. So he sought eternity not in empire, but in the pulse of pleasure and creation. Maybe it was loss, or madness, or both. But one night, he stood beneath golden ceilings, and swore that stone itself would awaken. The palace would become his living soul. He summoned architects, artists, and dreamers alike. "Build me a temple," he said softly, "not for gods, but for the senses." And so began the transformation of Rome's heart. Walls were torn down to make space for wonder. Marble halls reshaped into chambers of ecstasy. Fountains redesigned to sing under moonlight. Perfume woven into the air like prayer. Painters gilded ceilings with mythic seductions. Musicians composed symphonies for forbidden rites. Even the guards were trained in silence and grace. Power dressed itself in velvet and illusion. He rewrote the rules of imperial ceremony. Guests entered barefoot, stripped of rank and fear. Nobles and poets mingled as equals of desire. The emperor watched, smiling, a god reborn. The first marble cracked, revealing gold beneath. The city gasped. Beauty had broken its cage. Rumors spread faster than incense in wind. Rome was changing, one sigh at a time. Lavish feasts spilled into endless nights. Music drifted beyond palace walls like temptation. Women, men, nobles, all became his audience. And every story grew more impossible to ignore. The Senate whispered of madness in the throne. Priests debated if sin could ever be divine. But among the people, all drowned all caution. They spoke his name as one speaks of fate. From those first parties to endless retellings, a legend was born under candlelight. The emperor had turned life into theater, and his palace into the stage of desire. By dawn, the palace had transformed entirely. Where silence once ruled, Music now lived. Pleasure gardens shimmered beneath jeweled fountains mist. Perfumed air carried the hum of laughter. Marble pathways wound through hidden courtyards of delight. Statues gleamed, half divine, half human longing. Every archway opened into another forbidden stream. Light itself seemed trained to caress beauty's form. Secret chambers lined with silk and shadow. Rooms where night lasted longer than reason. Golden ceilings reflected dancers draped in myth. Wine poured like eternity into silver cups. The entertainment halls pulsed with exotic splendor. Musicians from Egypt, poets from Greece, magicians from East. Banquets overflowed with fruits unknown to Rome. Each feast felt like a rebellion against time. It was not just pleasure. It was ritual, a theater of desire performed without end. Every corner whispered, "Here, you are free." And the emperor, always watching, always creating, they came from every corner of the empire, courtiers draped in gold, faces carved in pride. Foreign dignitaries dazzled by Rome's strange brilliance. Artists, musicians, and philosophers seeking divine favor. Princes and princesses played roles of temptation. Servants moved like shadows, trained in elegance. No one was merely guest, all were actors. Desire itself had written the evening's script. Painters sketched lovers beneath flickering torches' glow. Poets whispered verses into jeweled ears. Dancers moved like spirits from forgotten legends. Every gesture became part of the emperor's design. It was a court without rank or shame. Pleasure, not birth, decided one's worth here. The lowly rose, the noble knelt willingly. And power shifted with every touch, every gaze. Yet behind the laughter, tension always lingered. Some came for favor, others for survival. Even beauty here had a cost in silence, and no one left unchanged by the night. Opulence was everywhere, heavy, intoxicating, endless. Rooms glowed like constellations made of gold. Perfume, wine, and incense mixed into eternity. Every sound echoed like prophecy and temptation, but beneath the music, darkness quietly stirred. Too much pleasure breeds its own kind of pain. Jealousy thrived in the scent of roses. Scandal became Rome's favorite form of prayer. Senators whispered of moral collapse and divine wrath. Priests spoke of sin disguised as art. Rumors filled the streets like restless smoke. The palace glimmered, but its soul burned slowly. To some, it was heaven on earth reborn. To others, a warning written in gold. Every banquet a triumph, every night a descent. The emperor watched, half creator, half captive, for within this house of desire eternal, beauty and madness slept in the same bed, and the line between God and man grew thinner with every heartbeat of the night. At first, the court was silent, uncertain, amazed by splendor, yet poisoned by envy. Jealousy crept softly through perfumed corridors. Every smile carried the weight of suspicion. Nobles bowed, but their hearts burned in secret. Some longed to share the emperor's indulgence. Others feared the gods would strike in fury. Desire had become the new language of power. Intrigue bloomed like ivy over marble walls. Alliances shifted with every lavish feast. Moral outrage turned into theater and applause. Even virtue began to wear a mask. A few resisted, whispering in dark chambers. Rome, they said, is losing its soul. But the music drowned their timid voices, and gold glimmered brighter than conscience could bear. Outside the palace, the stories grew wild. Merchants spoke of wonders beyond imagining. Soldiers returning from war whispered in awe. The emperor had turned sin into spectacle. To the common crowd, it felt divine. A god had descended, clothed in human beauty. But to foreign courts, it was madness, a ruler lost to dreams of lust and glory. Ambassadors wrote letters in veiled concern. Rome, they warned, no longer fears the heavens. Others saw weakness beneath the painted grandeur. An empire distracted, its edges beginning to fade. The emperor's legend became a double-edged crown. Worship and ridicule now walked hand in hand. Every nation watched with fascination and dread. The spectacle of Rome had become its curse. Then came the rumors, sharp as daggers, treasury drained by feasts that never ended. Temples neglected, while fountains overflowed with wine. Coins melted into statues of passing desire. The Senate murmured of rebellion in restraint. Rivals gathered, cloaked in moral outrage. Scandalous stories spread faster than the truth. Each tale more damning, more dangerous than before. A noble found dead beneath silken sheets. A priest vanished after speaking against excess. Rome's streets began to hum with unease. Beauty was cracking, revealing the beast within. The emperor smiled, blind to the gathering storm. For in his mind, art excused all sin, but power built on pleasure cannot stand forever. And the house of desire had begun to shake. For a moment, he believed he'd triumphed. The palace breathed, alive with endless worship. Every wall sang the song of his desire. Every guest bowed before the beauty he made. But perfection is a fragile, fleeting flame. Even gods grow weary of their own reflection. Pleasure repeated so long becomes its own prison. The laughter he built began to sound hollow. He walked through gardens heavy with silence. The fountains still sparkled, but without joy. Dancers moved, but their eyes were tired mirrors. He had conquered everything, except meaning itself, and in that emptiness, he finally saw it. The palace no longer served his will. It had become a monument to his loneliness, a golden echo that no longer answered back. The Senate turned from silence to defiance. Nobles plotted beneath veils of moral outrage. The treasury lay bare, emptied by ecstasy. Rome's patience had wilted beneath velvet and gold. Whispers became rumors, rebellion in disguise. Generals spoke of duty, not devotion anymore. The emperor's allies vanished one by one. Even loyalty learned the taste of fear. He tried to reclaim their hearts with splendor. But spectacle could not mend a broken empire. His name, once music, became a whispered curse. A symbol of madness, power, and ruin combined. Some say he wept upon his marble throne. Others claim he laughed until the torches died. Either way, the god became a man again, and the house of desire grew cold. When the flames came, they came quietly, not of fire, but of forgetfulness itself. Servants fled, gardens wilted beneath neglect. The fountains dried, the music turned to dust. New rulers feared what it represented, temptation. So they sealed its doors in solemn silence. Marble crumbled, ivy climbed over gilded dreams. Only whispers of its beauty remained alive, yet the myth endured where stone could not. Poets wrote of nights that defied morality. Travelers swore they heard laughter in ruins. The house of desire became legend, eternal, and somewhere, beyond the veil of time's decay, the emperor's spirit still walks its empty halls, searching for that one perfect night again. When beauty, power, and madness felt like love. Centuries passed, yet his story never died. Historians still walk through the ruins in thought. They see not just a man, but a mirror, power's shadow reflected in the art of excess. They write of him as warning and wonder, of brilliance twisted by boundless indulgence, of beauty turned into a weapon of rule, and of how the divine can corrupt the mortal. Some called him visionary, ahead of his time. Others, the embodiment of empire's decay. Both are true, as history rarely chooses mercy. Greatness and ruin often share the same throne. In his palace, we read Rome's final poem, a verse carved not in ink, but desire. A civilization's splendor dancing with its doom. The empire's heart, beating one last time. The palace stands as a metaphor eternal, a body built to house the hunger of man. Marble became the canvas of emotion and power. Gold became the language of ambition itself. It shows how dreams can consume their dreamer. How art, when unchecked, devours its own soul. How beauty can blind the hands that shape it. And how empire, at its peak, begins to fall. Leadership without restraint becomes theater, not legacy. Pleasure without boundary becomes tyranny in disguise. The palace was not failure, but revelation. It showed the cost of touching eternity. Even in ruin, it whispers its truth still. That desire, once unleashed, never truly dies. It hides beneath every crown and curtain, waiting for its next emperor to awaken. Modern empires rise on the same illusions. Palaces replaced by towers of glass and light. Spectacle still rules, only names have changed. And desire still wears the mask of progress. Architects chase perfection in steel and sky. Leaders build monuments to their fleeting glory. The stage is larger now, but unchanged. History repeats with brighter lights and quieter shame. Yet the story endures because it warns. It teaches that power is a mirror, not crown. That beauty without purpose becomes hollow triumph. And that humanity's oldest empire is desire itself. So when we gaze upon fallen marble and myth, we see not just Rome, but ourselves reflected. The house of desire still stands, unseen yet alive. For every age builds its own, again and again.